Just a very quick one today. Uh, so I often see loads of attempted debunks of the coconut analogy, and they all I've seen a lot of them, and most of them are basically just in my imaginary utopian system, the coconut analogy will not uh happen. The problem is they misunderstand the coconut analogy. The thing is, that it's not I can understand why some people misunderstand the coconut analogy because it's not just a left a people who try to critique the coconut analogy that misunderstand it. Some people try to use it, misunderstand it. When I mean misunderstand it, I mean not use it in its original form. Some people try to use a coconut analogy as a critique of capitalism. That was not its main purpose when it was created. The coconut analogy can be used as a critique of capitalism, but that's not how it was originally created. So therefore, the average libertarian, or in my magically imaginary ANCAP's society, the coke, there will be no coke analogy will not happen some something a magical free markets, magical the magical market means everyone's secretly billionaires. Uh, so fucking stupid. But that's not what the coke analogy is much more strict and more narrow than people like to imagine it is. Basically the idea of the main coconut analogy is basically if you ever try the beta libertarian, the main idea you'll eventually get the how can it be coercive? It's transactional, it's consensual, so how can it be coercive? No, well, it's not. So basically, if you argue with a libertarian, so if you argue with a libertarian, you're familiar with how can it be coercive? It's voluntary. The coconut analogy basically was created to show that voluntary there can be voluntary situations that are still coercive. The so basically I didn't, so base so basically if you were to accept the premise that the coconut analogy is coercive, which most people do accept, some people try to escape into pedantry to try and explain why coercive analogy is not coercive, but most people agree that if you were forced to suck somebody's cock or else you're gonna die, that's a bit coercive, right? And but also, if you believe that the coconut analogy is not, so also if you believe that the coconut analogy is voluntary, which it is in the libertarian framework, it is voluntary in libertarian framework, then we have discovered a scenario where there is a voluntary interaction that is also coercive. So therefore, the argument that because a arrangement is voluntary, that it's not coercive, makes is doesn't make sense because there isn't valid because we have described something that is both voluntary and coercive. So therefore, so yeah, so the stupid argument. Well, because it's voluntary, how can it be coercive? Doesn't make sense. My experience is when you try to use this argument, most people assume is you're doing the creed of capitalism argument and try to make a well, in my imaginary utopia, this coconut analogy will somehow magic do not happen, which is what most people, when they say they debunk the coconut analogy, actually mean. The only way to truly debunk the coconut analogy is to say either a the coconut analogy is somehow not voluntary, which in the libertarian framework the coconut analogy is voluntary, they're not putting a gun to your head, and if and also or you have to argue that it is not coercive, which if you want to be a pedant you can argue, but most people understand that it is coercive. So that's it. Do you like my new format for these videos? It feels it's probably a bit better than still image, but it's a bit jumpy. The pauses are the only thing I created in OBS. Would you rather me just thumble through the video or uh have keep the do you rather me keep the pauses like I just did, or do you want, is it okay? Would you rather have the video skip a bit, but also but you don't but I'm a bit easier to understand? Let me know in the comments. Your contribution is greatly appreciated. Bye bye.